There we go. I'm alive. Holy shit, it's insane. I've been gone for like, what, a month? Hey yo gamer. How's it going? How's everybody? I have not streamed in a month, or 2 months at that. I haven't streamed in 2 months. Um It feels weird to be back. I wasn't going to come back until I got my room and everything set up. Um, because it's a gay. You live with me, Zoth. I don't want to hear it. But yeah, no, I have not been planning on streaming since I because the room has an echo. I don't know how audible the echo is, but there's an echo in my room, and I don't like it, and I didn't want to come back with, like, subpar quality in the audio. But I figured I needed to bite the bullet and do a stream and be like, hey guys, I'm alive. And I need to just, like, get past the whole, like, oh, I'm not gonna stream because the audio thing. Like, I need to just keep streaming. Probably the biggest issue with the sound is probably the window right next to me. If I get the window covered, it probably won't be that bad, because glass is probably the biggest source of audio bounce. It's not too bad on stream. Are you sure about that? Glasgow Wub. Yeah. But I was just gonna play some Yakuza, on stream, just talk about some shit. How's the new place, if you don't mind me asking? I enjoy the new place far more than my old place. Living with somebody who's not, like a partner or an ex-partner, way better. Because right now my roommate is probably, like, my best friend, so, like, that's a lot better than my ex. So, yeah. Aw, Bish. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about, like, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm probably gonna turn, like, all of these little, like, ramble things into kind of like a podcast style, like, video or something. Kind of like Dark Viper does. Like, Dark Viper is kind of my, like, currently my streaming inspiration, because of his Rambles series, where he just talks about shit and, like, uploads, like, his stream rambles on YouTube. I don't know how the audio quality is right now, obviously. I have a new sound system I have to install, I have a new microphone I have to install, and all that. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the game screen. Probably have to turn it down, but... The good thing about my current stream setup, I just figured out a way I can go to the just chatting thing, and you can't hear the game now. But if I go back, now there's game audio. But yeah, so my current plans for streaming, and, like, the room is to get it some soundproofing, because I need soundproofing for my room, just to make it so the audio quality isn't shit. I have a new microphone, which is a XLR microphone from Shure, that I'm very excited to get, like, set up and everything. I have a new computer I need to build, which will have, like, an SSD and whatnot. I was gonna do a stream in the future called like ex semi-pro CS:GO player makes a return. Is she still any good or something like that? Should definitely get a puff guard for it. Your computer doesn't have an SSD? Not my current one. I have a 4 terabyte hard drive and a terabyte hard drive. But yeah, I have a new computer I need to build. It's got a Ryzen 9, a new SSD. I'm just gonna put my old hard drives in it. But I have another new 4 terabyte hard drive. I have like a pink case I'm gonna put in. Oh shit, I don't have a water bottle. Let me go grab my growler of water. There we go. But, yeah, so I have at least a year of probably, like, potential uninterrupted streaming if I don't lose motivation. Which, because like I was saying about my new place, my lease is 14 months from June. Or not June, July. So September of next year is when I have to be out of this apartment and either into a new place or renew the lease. If everything goes how I would like it to go, we'll be in a 2-bedroom in the same complex, probably or hopefully with the same, like, hardwood floors, tile walls, like the whole renovation that we have here. And then, like, from there, we'll get everything moved, probably either with help from people I know, a moving company who can help us move the furniture. Ideally, we would just get a moving company. And then, in the new place, get everything set up again. And just same thing after everything's set up. Back to the stream. And whatnot, so... yeah, that is my... Local move would be pretty cheap. Maybe. But yeah, so I think the next time I get paid... we're gonna look into some soundproofing options, and then with the soundproofing options, we'll, get everything so the sound in my room is better. So, like, the soundproofing I have is some soundproofing foam. I think we're gonna put some behind my computer, so because I'm talking at that wall. So, we'll get some foam on that. Get it so my voice doesn't bounce off of that wall. And then we'll get some, like, probably just some blankets hung up on the window, because we were talking about blackout curtains, which would be nice. But Blanket should do the job at least how I want to. And then yeah, we're just gonna keep streaming. I know I haven't like been playing the story of Yakuza on stream. What the It pains me that you skip the dialogue for the sub-stories. I'm not. I'm reading it. I'm just not saying it out loud. Super fast reader? Yeah. They're just not into it. Poor Majima. Me trying to entertain y'all, just fucking... Though you love me. Dances in his heart out for nothing. Yeah. This poor statue, he's just gotta pee. And so it is canon that Majima can belt out 24 Cinderella literally anywhere. Problem solved with baseball bat. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any more, like, questions that you want me to answer, I don't mind answering them on stream. I figured we could have, like, a little, like, segment on stream, like, if we're in a slow section in a game, or just in general, like, y'all could ask me questions, and I would either, like, talk about them, or I also just have a list of things I can talk about, if anybody's, like, interested in that either. But I figured, like, I'm pretty good at, like, multitasking with Yakuza, because I've been playing it a lot, and, like, watching things and like talking to people, so I figured it would just be a game that I can easily like just have something to do with. I have 40 million. Because if I really need to, like, just have, like, a moment in this game where we're just chatting, I can just do the Cabaret Club, which is literally just, like, I have to pay attention to a few things, but other than that, I literally don't have to pay that much attention. Cabaret Club can be pretty mindless. Yeah, which also gives me, like, something that I can just put on and, like, earn money to make, like, later stuff easier for me. Because, I mean, there's also, like, the walking around and getting into the fights. I don't know if I'm gonna do... Oh, she's somebody that I can hire. Katsukin, 8 million. Yes. I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought, like, 'cause I know they tell you you can... I know that they mentioned that you can buy gifts and get new girls working at your club. I didn't realize it was a thing that you could just go up to random buildings and, like, I guess, partner with them? Have you been to the shrine? Yeah, I only have one more completion point. I think I can do something with this guy. Because I think you just have to upgrade your... thing to be, like, ready to go into mastery. Because Yakuza 0 right now is one of the games I'm actually, like, enjoying a shit ton. Occurred to you during your bout. Kill him. Yeah. Go fuck yourself. I just snapped his neck. I got the evasion strike. How Majima and Kiryu never kill anyone is boggling to me. Isn't that just from, like, a lore standpoint they never kill anybody? Like, it's like how Batman never kills anybody. I'm gonna do some karaoke. What did I do with my... There it is. I actually suck at Yakuza's karaoke. Because, like, sometimes the timing will be, like, really weird. Like, you'll have to press it, like, early. Impossible, you're great at rhythm games? I'm not that great. Because I haven't played Osu in a hot minute. I'm really rusty at rhythm games. I just got a Google News thing saying the Yakuza creator is drawing influence from Tarantino movie for his next game. Fun fact, isn't the guy who made... The guy who made the Yakuza series made Monkey Ball. Lively interjections. Which we should totally play against each other. I mean, I have Monkey Ball 2 on GameCube, I think. But, like, that's not the one that, like, had the narrator that everybody, like, was searching for because he was, like, uncredited. Two is okay, I prefer the original. Yeah, me too.
Yay! Sunshine! Aye! Yay! Yay! ふわふわふわふわかわいい顔してはいはい俺もかい
Well, it might be that they're the same narrator for the English version, but I have the Japanese version for Monkey Ball 2 on GameCube. Oh, is the same guy who did the Wii Sports narration? At least it sounds like it. No, I don't think so. I just... Because I know everybody was looking for the... Well, there was like a search for the Monkey Ball narrator for a while. Nick Robinson did a video on it that was really, like... He spent so much effort trying to find the guy. Because, the Monkey Ball narrator is an uncredited role. I'm pretty sure the Wii Sports narrator would be, like, a credited role. I don't know how I got Karaoke Pro for that. I thought I did dog shit. But yeah, so, like, Nick Robinson did this whole... I think his name is Nick Robinson. Let me double check. Search for the Monkey Ball narrator. It's called, How I Solved Super Monkey Ball's Biggest Mystery by Nick Robinson. I just noticed you're incredibly injured while you were doing that karaoke. Yeah, I think I'm trying to do it on the completion list where you complete the menu of a restaurant, so you just, like, eat everything they have. So right now I'm trying to get the bottomless stomach thing. But I also just got my ass beat by that guy, so... Recently I've been getting very close to beating Mr. Shakedown. Which, if you don't know, there's a character in this game, that's kind of made to wander so you don't, like, get too much money, I guess. That if you see him, you kind of have to, like, run away from. Or if you beat him, I think you get, like, a certain amount of... You get, like, more... You get your money back, like, with interest.
Oh my!
Yes, Mr. Shakedown is a form of investment banking. Yeah, you were telling me a bit about that, but I don't understand how it works. So I'm just gonna try to beat him. I think by the next time I stream, hopefully tomorrow after my D&D game, I'm gonna try to update VC face. Because I've just realized that the mouth movement still isn't working, and I'm hoping just, like, updating VC will fix that. I also get, so also for anybody that's, like, not familiar, I, could also have something to do with the reverb that the mic is picking up, so it spazzes the mouth. I don't think so, because it's not spazzing. I think it's just... Because it did this at the old place, too, where it didn't pick up. Like, the mouth movement. Who else do I usually have on? She actually gets me a bit of money. And so does her. Yeah, but so recently, because I know not everybody's gonna be, like, aware, but I've been working in the, like, service industry, at a pub, and I've learned a lot about the service industry, and kind of how, like, toxic tipping can be. Granted, I work at a pub that doesn't take tips. We have, like, a built-in service charge. I don't want to give poor dudes my best girls. But also, like, this dude didn't have, like, a super long session, so I'm either gonna see if he'll extend. But yeah, so, like, I've been working in a pub, I've been, that's basically where all of my time's been going. So, like, I work at a pub, so I've learned a lot about, like, beer culture, and I've also learned, just in general, you'd be surprised how much of a beer culture we have in America as opposed to, like, the rest of the world. Because I know there's, like, this kind of thing where people will talk about, like, oh, like, Germany has a beer culture. Germany is not... Because, the brewer that we have now, I'm not gonna say the name of the pub I've been working at, but... So, the brewer that is, like, our new... or, like, most recent hire is, like, the brewer. So, he was telling us that, like, in other, like, European countries, the beer culture is very weak, and, like, to me that was super surprising, because there's this, like, not misconception, but there's this, like, idea, I guess, that Germany has this big beer culture, and, like, other parts of the world have beer culture, and so he was explaining to me and one of my other coworkers that, it's not so much a beer culture there, it's a, like, pub culture. So they just, like, most places don't... Ashtray. Washington State is the largest hops producer in the world. Yeah, I didn't know that, but, yeah, like, America is very much where you go, if you want, like, craft beer, at least anymore, because a lot of these European countries will have, like, a pub culture, where they're more about, like, the drinking than they are, the, like, the brewing and the crafting of the beer, which was really surprising for me to, like, find out, because, you know, like most people, I think I thought that, Germany had, like, the biggest beer culture, and it just turns out that that's not true. And then I've also been learning more about, like, the brewing process of beer, and there's, like, a lot that goes into it. It's actually, like, kind of insane. So yeah, that's like what I've kind of been learning about the service industry, is that there's a lot to it, and there's a lot like more to the world of like breweries and beer than I initially thought, and I thought that was really interesting. So because I found it so interesting, I was like talking to the new brewer, and so I'm gonna be having like a special beer release like on my birthday, so probably closer to January, February, I'm gonna be making my own fucking beer. And I thought that was like really, really cool, because I don't know many people that for their 21st birthday make their own beer. Like, and I'm not crazy about beer, so I'm like trying to make something that's more on the malt side and not like the hops side, because I think hops taste disgusting. And that's something that I've also learned working in the industry of brewery and like beer service, is that you don't initially start out liking hops. It really just depends on like how you start with your beer experience, because everybody's like beer journey is different, and there's also the fact that like beer is very much an acquired taste. Well, so that's only true if you're drinking it in the wrong conditions, Zoth, because I found out that for... Why is it not letting me... It wasn't letting me pick a girl. So, in the world, like, beer is very much an acquired taste, and, like, how you start out depends on what flavor profile works for you, and eventually you'll just get to a point where you can drink pretty much a variety of beer and enjoy it, as opposed to, yeah, I don't like hops, hops aren't really my thing. Because my coworker started with light beers, and beers that have like a little bit of a body to them, more in the lager style, and that's how he started drinking beer. But one of my other coworkers, who used to be a bartender like at full bars, kind of explained to me that it's easier for most people to start with dark beers, because dark beers, if they're not made hoppy, will have more of a malt, coffee, chocolate kind of flavor. So it's easier to start with those, because most people enjoy coffee, most people drink coffee. So starting with a dark beer, if it's made with malt, so more your stouts, like your milk stouts, your coffee stouts, you'll probably learn to enjoy those more, and then maybe you can move on to porters, which are usually made with hops as opposed to malt. So then you can start like, and again, I might be wrong, I might be thinking about them the opposite way. I need to do more research with my beer, because like stouts and porters are similar in the sense that they're dark, but I think they're brewed differently, and that's something that I'm gonna have to like research before I actually brew, and I think that'll be interesting. I want to talk to the brewer, because we're gonna can it too, in which it has like something to do with me in the title, and it has something like maybe my logo as the label, because the brewery I work at, we have special labels that we have for different beers. Now that I don't live as close to where I work, maybe at some point I'll give that away. I doubt it though. Like I like having privacy, and I don't want y'all coming to my bar unless we're really close. But I'm very excited. At least I'll post like a picture of the beer, and I'll try my best to make it so the like name of the brewery isn't on the can, so I can just like show you guys. But I think in a post on Twitter I have like a sticker with it, so I don't think it really even matters. But yeah, so like I'm very interested in this job. Like I want to get on the business team so that way I can make more money, B, learn more about how businesses run, which will also help, like, you know, my streaming a little bit, because learning how to operate the merch and everything as a business will be a good thing, both for like the merch, both for me, and also just so I can like learn new skills, and then with those skills move on to something that makes me even more money, if streaming doesn't get to that point. And I do hope that streaming does get to that point, but it's not like, I don't want to put my eggs like in that basket, like, you know. So, hey, how's it going, Natsu? But yeah, I've been enjoying working in a pub and brewery. I think it's if I don't get to the point where I can go all in on streaming, it's where I would like to be for a while. And that is like what I'm happy doing currently. Because I'm even like the head of the events committee at this pub. So essentially, like, I get to make decisions on how we operate to bring in like new customers and whatnot. And at some point I will get to a point where I handle all of the events, even the ones that like people like book us for and whatnot. So I'm very excited to learn more about that. I would say if you've never worked in the service industry before, you should definitely try it out. I feel like everybody should do it at least once, because even if you get a shitty experience working at like a bar or at a restaurant, at least then you have that like experience with how to deal with like people. Because like I started out in retail and I fucking hate retail, but working in the service industry, at least I've gotten to a point where I can say I've had this like life experience. So personally, I just think it's something that everybody should have to, not like have to, but everybody should try out at least once in their life, just to see how to interact with certain types of people. Because maybe if everybody knew how to deal with people, we'd have a slightly better set of like people, I guess, that understand other people and aren't dicks. Yeah, people need to be more empathetic. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I just couldn't, like, find it. Thanks, cutie.
盛り上がってきたわ。
ご延長はいかがでしょうか。ありがとうございました。
Let's... Give them her for now. Via's cutie? No. I am very much not cute. I actually really enjoy this mode of the game. I wish there was like a game that was basically just this. There we go. Now everybody is happy. Vi is very cute, don't let them lie to you. I am not lying. There we go. Now that wealthy guy's happy. I was writing a script, for like a Yakuza 0, review, and I described it as like RuneScape Lite because it just has so many gameplay, like, mechanics that while they aren't, like, the same, at least, like, add on to the experience. My being is kind of cringe. Shut up. Holy shit, 24 million yen profit. But yeah, I mean, it's like also, it's super nice to get back to streaming. I feel like now that school's kind of starting up, like, people have more... I want to say more free time because, like, during the summer, people that go to school are at work. Or, yeah, like, most people that go to school are at work. Meanwhile, if you go to school, like, throughout the year, usually your evenings are free, at least in my experience, I guess, but... it's just nice to be, like, back because I don't know what I'm saying. They have more excuse to listen to stuff in the evening while doing studies. Yeah, basically that. Also, people who aren't in school or work are likely trying to start up streaming, so there's more saturation. Maybe? I also just think, like, most people that stream that are, like, that do go to school or work are in school more or working more because their coworkers that might not... Their coworkers that might not be in that same situation probably aren't working as much, or stream... what am I saying? What the fuck am I saying? Hang on. Streamers who go to school or work aren't streaming as much because they likely have to go to school or work. So they don't have as much free time because the people that do have the free time are probably working while they're in school so that... Holy shit, my fucking brain is not working. Oh, okay. You were, like, during summer. I didn't know that you meant, like, during summer. Got bamboozled, yeah. Mastery 4, Mastery 2, Mastery 3. Where's Mastery 1? That's Mastery 5. I guess I got it. I don't know. What the fuck? That's helpful. Where do I go to talk to... Learn more, like... weapon stuff. Get bazingaed? Fuck off. Damn it. Fight me. Also, another part of why I haven't really been streaming as much is I've also been trying to do more things for me. Like, I've been, trying to... Like, I have a weekly D&D match now. D&D match? D&D sessions. Like, usually weekly... Well... Every single time we've played, it's been bi-weekly because more than one person will be unavailable. Like, last week, two players were sick. Is this like chess? This is kind of chess. The fuck piece is this? How am I supposed to know what piece this is? Oh, S. What is S? Silver. I think? S. Oh, fuck you, buddy. Can I not take that? So they only go straight. That's depressing. Oh, because it would be there. Do I have a bishop? Where's my bishops? Are they just all dead? Do you only have one? Is that it? Why can't I just play chess? Not understand. Son of a bitch. Never mind. Wait, is that... I can move their piece? What the fuck? Oh, I can just see how they can move. I see. I'm gonna lose. What? I can't... Why can't I... I don't like this game. I don't like this. Game too hard. I'm going back to being a pimp. That guy's drunk. Usually drunk dudes want to fight me. Oh yeah, I need... Forgot about that. What is this place? Oh, I'm guessing this is where I can buy, like, gifts for the girls I want to work at Sunshine. This is also a gift shop. Oh, I can sell items here. Can be used to craft equipment. Holy shit! There we go. Oh yeah, I should be able to go back there. There we go. Time to beat up a drunk man with a bat. Anyone inconveniences Violet. Oh, so you've chosen death. Welcome back, cutie. Yes, cute. poster seeking drug test participants.
Ah. Yeah.
So I know this is technically like chronologically the first game in the series, but I feel like maybe a lot of the events in the story would have made more sense if I had played other games in the series, considering Yakuza 0 is technically like the 7th game in the series. Not really. I guess. Mostly it'd be things like, oh, it's that character, or some odd reference to later games. I guess. Nothing really too significant. I guess. I did just add the steelbook of Like a Dragon to my collection. And I think, like, a while back we were I was looking at how much my collection, like, costs. And I realized, like, being a collector is, like, so fucking expensive. Because, if you're on my Discord, you'll know that I bought some of the Studio Ghibli movies, or Ghibli, or however it's actually pronounced, and, they were like 27 bucks each. So if you wanted the entire, like, set, you would be spending a lot of money. It'd be like several hundred. Oh shit, we still need to watch Howl's Moving Castle? Yeah, we do. There's a lot of movies we still need to watch, like Predator 2, fucking... Well, yeah, but we need to watch all of the Predator movies for Prey. At least in my opinion. At least I do. Because I've only seen the first Predator movie. But yeah, like, a bunch of the games I own are super expensive. A lot of the consoles I own were pretty expensive. I mean, like, my Xbox is, that I'm playing Yakuza on was pretty cheap. It was only $100 bucks-ish. I've started to collect some movies that I'm interested in, like just buying movies, because movies are pretty cheap if you get them at a bargain. but like movies on Steelbook are pretty interesting to me because movies feel like you like before I started buying physical movies, I wouldn't have expected movies to be on in Steelbooks. But I guess it makes sense because people can be super passionate about like collecting movies and having collector's editions. Got Promare recently too. Yeah, I bought Promare because it's my favorite anime movie. Period. I love Promare. Recently, I think I've just had a fascination with steelbooks because, like I said, I have Like a Dragon on steelbook, and I wanted to get Kiwami on steelbook, but they only have it on PS4. And if I'm gonna play a series, I want them to like mostly be on the same console. Like, I was hoping the Persona games that are coming out on like PS4 and 5 were gonna come out physically, but only it turns out only the remaster of Persona 5 and the re-releases of Persona 5 on like Switch and Xbox are gonna be physical, which was super disappointing actually. Because Persona 3 and Persona 4 are only gonna be on digital, which is super depressing to me. And I was thinking maybe they'll get like a limited run, but I also kind of doubt that. But I guess we'll see. If you do the sub-story before you get the breaker style, you could still switch to it despite not knowing it. That's cool. I feel like this one's gonna make my screen all blurry. Giving a one-man sight inhibiting drugs. Yeah. So my vision is just gonna get worse and worse. I never realized how having a screen border that gets more and more imposing with gets his eye ripped out is very unsettling. Oh, I know. I never realized how imposing that would be. I was like, I'll just focus on the center, it'll be fine. But like the thing ruining my screen vision, it's made it like so hard for me to focus. Periphery vision is very important. Yeah.
何やて
There was one sub story that it either didn't save my progress for, or well, I earned 10 million and a completion point. I forgot what I was saying. There was one, oh yeah, there was one sub story that I either didn't save the progress of, or something happened where I had to do it twice. So I wasn't like super happy about that, because I mean it was an interesting sub story. It was the one where Kiryu is a producer on a TV set. And I had to do it twice. Owie. Stop punching me and get hit like a man. Stop. Remember, you can guard. Don't tell me what to do. I get hit like a man. He should get hit like a man. Pretty cool way to learn new move, TBH. How so? Like, having it, like, taught in the middle of the fight? All the style training are kind of like that. Like Master Sensei style, yeah. Thug Cunning Enlightenment. Slugger is kind of busted, though. I know. That's why I have it fully upgraded right now. Although, back on the topic of collecting, it's super hard to, like, collect games recently, and especially consoles, with the whole, like, artificial scarcity, and the electronics shortage. Like, artificial scarcity happens a lot with these, like, game companies, that want to just push that, hey guys, we only have a limited number of this product, even though they could 100% make more. So you'll have, like, game companies that will do, like, a physical, like, limited run. Like, look at limited run games where they're like, hey, we have the rights to distribute this game physically, but we're only going to have it available to you for a month. So, say you're having a bad financial month, but it's a game that you really, really, really want. It's you can't get it. Like, so if you're a collector who likes physical media, or even if you're just of the mindset that I am, that you know, if you like something, you should collect it physically. So if, you know, say you want a game that's available on a limited run, like, let's look at, for a second, I want to look at Republic Commando limited run, and how much that's going to cost if you want to buy it. So, on eBay, if you want just the Steelbook on Switch, it's going to run you a few $100s. The PC Premium Edition is $200 at Walmart. The one that is not a Steelbook is $46. A cartridge that is just the cartridge with no case, $48 on eBay. But then you go to the, like, limited run website and it's just, like, out of stock. Out of stock. They do have a version of the game available if you want to buy it on PS4 that is on Amazon, where it's the Commando and Racer bundle, but it's 2 games on one, and, you know, the disc just installs the 2 games, which, if you want to own the games physically in case they ever get removed from a digital storefront, is at least a way to do so. But a lot of games don't get that treatment, where if they get a limited physical run, it's never coming back. Like, you'll never be able to get it physically ever again. Because, like, limited run games exist on this, artificial scarcity, run on this whole, like, once it's gone, you're never gonna have it again. Because I just found another limited run game. It's Stranger Things 3, which is like a PS4 Stranger Things game. And the physical version on Amazon is $121. But if you wanted to buy it on I think the PlayStation storefront, it's not available. It's delisted from the PlayStation Store. So the entire like FOMO and scarcity, yeah, not available for purchase on the PlayStation Store. So the only way to play this game, which is like it's an RPG in the style of other like SNES RPGs, but you can't play it anymore, despite the fact like how cool the game sounds. It might not even be a good game, but my point is that you can't purchase it anymore because Netflix is having this whole thing where they're trying to make their own video games, and they're trying to get their games on this like storefront where it's just available to play on their storefront and only the games that they make. So this whole like artificial scarcity thing is essentially making it so if you don't buy it immediately, or if you don't buy a physical copy if that's your thing, you'll just not be able to play it again. Like, I believe if you own it on PS4, you could probably still download it, as I'm sure is the case with games on the PS4 and Xbox One that get delisted. Like, if you still own it, you can probably play it, at least I would assume. Because that is the case with Steam. When a game gets delisted off of Steam, if you still own it, you can still install it. Because, as far as I'm aware, at least on Steam, you own the game. I know it's a different thing on each storefront. Like, some storefronts are that you're buying a DRM for a game and that you don't even technically own it. You just own the right to play it. As is, I believe, the case with Epic Games. You're just buying a license. The whole games as a service bullshit. Yeah, but again, that's like what I'm talking about, and it plays into that whole like artificial scarcity. Like, a game might disappear from a storefront, and you're just not able to like play it. So yeah, games as a service is really toxic. Artificial scarcity, while it makes sense, like, say I have a merch drop that comes out, and it's a limited time merch drop. It's to get people really hyped for that merch drop. Once it's sold out, it's gone. That I can understand with, like, at least clothing, like, because certain brands will not make the same clothing the entire time that brand exists. That's just something that's kind of always been the case, and, you know, fashion trends change. Companies might not produce something because of the fashion trends and whatnot. I like to imagine the chat is just personified by this guy on screen right now. What do you mean? Live services are what the player wants by, but here's the thing. Half of the people that buy into the whole, like, games as a service thing are not necessarily into gaming as a whole, is not into the entire buying of video games, and a lot of it just isn't it's not the same. Like, most people that want live services, they just want something to do, and then they'll move on to the next one when it comes out, because they're essentially using video games as a way to kill time until they can no longer use that game to kill time. Whereas people like me that are into video games, people that genuinely enjoy video games and aren't just using it as a way to kill time, like, I'm sure, like the sports bros, like, that play video games, they're usually just playing, like, FIFA or Madden because they enjoy not so much video games as a whole, they enjoy the thing that the video game is emulating. So people that play FIFA and people that play Madden aren't like the same people that would play like Yakuza or Persona, because video games at their best are an art medium, and video games at their worst are live services, are sports games, you know? Like, they're meant to get money from people who enjoy the thing that the video game is emulating. And because the people who enjoy the thing that the game is emulating, every single time there's a roster update, they would rather play the new one, because they would rather play with, like, say, the sports team they like with the roster that is current, as opposed to an outdated roster that happened, like, 3 years ago. And, like, you could make the argument that you could just have one game that keeps getting patches and updates and, like, whatnot, but essentially the whole live service model is meant to suck your money out of your possession and into the hands of the game company. And people keep buying into that, and the artificial scarcity, and the whole argument from a business standpoint is that artificial scarcity works. And I understand that when you have a business model that works, and like, FOMO fucking works, like, from a business standpoint. But when it comes to video games and having physical releases, I don't like the FOMO and the artificial scarcity, because it essentially limits the amount of people that can purchase this thing. And when it's, at least physically, like, if I am buying a video game that had a limited run, I now significantly have to spend more than I did when it came out, because I missed that window, and I might not have even known that that game was for sale during that window. But a lot of people do buy it because that's essentially when you'll get it at the cheapest. So if I buy a game on limited run for a game that is digital only, I essentially have to buy it while it's in its pre-sale phase, because afterwards the FOMO and the artificial scarcity has gone into effect, and I will never be able to get it again. Because The Force Unleashed, I wanted to buy the physical re-release of that, and now that it's the because it, like, from a consumer point of view, and I understand that this situation will not happen to everyone, but my situation was that The Force Unleashed pre-orders went on sale during a time that I was unsure where I was going to live. So if I pre-ordered, I was not able, like, I might, in retrospect, might have been able to put the address I was living at, and then email them and be like, hey, I need to switch the address. But from a standpoint, when you're in that situation where it's like, where am I going to exist? You're not really thinking of, like, oh, well, I could just email them and have them send it to my new place. At least, like, in my brain, I wasn't like, oh, I could do that. I was just like, oh shit, well, I'm gonna have to miss out on this thing because I'm not going to be living in the same place. And so, like, artificial scarcity, from a certain point of view, if you look at it on the flip side, prevents these companies from making a sale. Like, because if Limited Run or Aspire, if Aspire just kept selling that physical release, I would have been able to buy it, and they would have made $90 extra off of me buying the limited or the special edition of Force Unleashed if they had just kept it in production. So from one standpoint, you've got like, oh well, you get a lot of sales when there's FOMO, but then you could look at it in the opposite light of, well, because there's limited sales, there's a ton of people that weren't able to receive to purchase a product that they wanted to purchase. Therefore, the company releasing it loses money because while I was super hyped about it, while it had like the FOMO, I was more interested in the fact that it was getting a physical release, less than I was about there being like the FOMO. Because while it's very likely that I will pre-order the premium edition of KOTOR 2, which just dropped on which recently just dropped on Limited Run. It's very, very unlikely that I purchase anything other than games that I'm very passionate about from Limited Run games. Because if I look at Limited Run games, they're currently doing Limited Run number 158. So they've done 158 versions of quote-unquote last run games. Doom 64, they have a N64 classic version of Doom 64 where you get a red N64 cart for $55, and it has a booklet. What is it? It has a booklet, a poster, and that's it. So it has the game, a booklet, a poster. Currently available for pre-order. But unless you are able to purchase it right this second, you're going to miss out on it. They have a limited run physical copy of Doom Eternal on Switch, which just to like, granted, Doom Eternal has a physical release on other consoles. If you want to buy Doom Eternal on the PS4 physically for $16.84 on the PS4. But if you're somebody who wants to buy it on the Switch physically, you have to get it through Limited Run Games. And also, like, I have the physical copy of Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2. I already own it on PC, but if I want to get all of these additional features that they have, I essentially have to pay $175 to get a game that I already own. And I mean, whether or not I will, is up for debate, honestly, because I enjoy the game enough that I would be willing to buy it. At least the $90 version. Because what they are offering for KOTOR 2 is something that I'm interested in. Because currently for KOTOR 2, I might as well just switch to my PC window. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. They're offering a foil box with a jewel case, which is not something you get if you buy KOTOR 2. On PC, you only get the you get a essentially this big game case, which if I can find it, looks like this. And I know that just looks like a game case, but if I can find... It's essentially the width of this. Which I'm not a fan of. And I think if you go to their site, I saw something about coming soon. Coming soon. So they're doing this VHS style box for the original KOTOR, but they did a way cooler Knights of the Old Republic in the past, which I'm a little mad at. I'm a little upset I missed out on. Because this is just way cooler. And again, like the whole like FOMO thing, like if I go to eBay, I'm sure it's way more. If I can even find it, it might just be one of those games that you just can't like get the special edition of. +2 cards, limited run games number 122. So yeah, the limited run KOTOR, nobody's selling the special edition of. That's interesting. You can buy a Knights of the Old Republic case that has like a code in it. This might have been a re-release, honestly. But I'm like getting off into a tangent. But yeah, like FOMO, artificial scarcity, and the electronic shortage is kind of killing the gaming industry right now, at least from a physical standpoint. Because, at least with the electronics shortage, there's a valid, like, there is a valid reason behind it. Like, you just can't, really find electronics because they're super hard to manufacture right now because of COVID, because of restrictions, and also fucking crypto miners. Because of money over art. I didn't know that. But, so, essentially... Holy sh... I... Okay, I can just rob this guy while he sleeps. Cool. Anime is basically mainstream now and younger people. Yeah. Is he gonna wake up and get pissed? Yep.
お前あれだぜ
Oh well.
後悔すなよ
I think I can beat his ass. Never mind, I'm gonna lose. Just think about how much the canon movies get in the box office. Broly did amazingly. Apparently, Superhero hasn't been doing very good.
あ
I've been hearing that I've heard that it's an amazing movie. But I've heard that in the box office it did not do very well. Like, its opening weekend was pretty bad. Then again, I heard that the Lightyear opening weekend was pretty bad. And it feels like we're at a point where good movies tend to do bad at the box office. Which is really unfortunate, because I think Lightyear was a fantastic movie, and while I don't really, I'm not like the person that's like, man, I want more movies like Lightyear. I do want more movies that are good to do well in the box office. Or for to go to watch movies. Because here's the thing, like, at least in America, movies aren't that expensive to go to. It's just, movie releases are so piled up right now that if you think a movie's good, you may not have the money to go to that specific movie, because you might have already gone to see a different movie in that month. Well, I said piled up, right? Because I think that's like the same, not oversaturation, because a lot of these movies releasing are different genres and different, like, different things that different people would want to go see. What I'm saying is that movies will come out all in the same month, and while they may be different in premise and concept, it's just there's too many movies in this month for every single movie that's good to do well. So, because I'm sure this movie called Vengeance, which has BJ Novak in it and is directed by BJ Novak, I'm sure it's a good movie. But when me and Zoth were talking about it, and like discussing which movie we'd like to go see, we ended up going to see Bullet Train because the trailer for Bullet Train just seemed so much more interesting than the trailer for Vengeance. And now, because I've seen Bullet Train, I can't afford to go see Vengeance right now. And by the time I get the money, it likely won't be in theaters still. Because now Dragon Ball Super Superhero has come out, so when I get paid, I want to go see Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And instead of going to see Vengeance, even though I think it's going to be a good movie, and I think it'll be worth the view, I have gone and seen Superhero. So then, studios will be less likely to give BJ Novak money to produce and direct movies because the movie that he starred in and directed and probably even had a hand in writing did not do well in the box office because companies care more about a box office success than overall sales, which I can understand if your movie's going into the theater and you're spending a bunch of money to have your movie go to theaters. You want there to be a return, but because this movie came out at the wrong time, it's likely not being seen by as many people as the studio is hoping. And that's kind of why we don't have as many good movies out right now, is because companies tend to pump out the superhero movies that people are gonna go see, regardless of if they're good. Because, like, Marvel has been bastardizing their characters. And that's, like, a whole nother conversation I could, like, talk about, is the bastardization of Marvel characters. I really should just have a fucking podcast. Well, I believe the comic book hero genre is being oversaturated. I don't think movies as a whole are being oversaturated, because by that same standard, you could say video games are being oversaturated with how many are being released. I would personally make the argument that it's not oversaturation, it's just... Because oversaturation to me feels like, something that happens based on... Like, I would say Marvel is oversaturated. I would not say movies as a whole are oversaturated. Because movies as a whole, generally, at least for people who enjoy movies and people who watch movies, say I watch, like, 2 movies in a day, I don't feel like my day's been oversaturated by movies because I've watched a bunch. I do think that the AAA market is oversaturated due to the releases of larger games being more frequent than they need to be, like Call of Duty. Well, then I would argue that Call of Duty games are currently oversaturated. I would not argue that games as a whole have been oversaturated, because while there is a indie game where you play as a cat, there is not a game quite exactly like Stray. So games as a whole are not being oversaturated, because oversaturation to me feels like it weakens your experience because of the amount being produced. But I would argue that Call of Duty games have been oversaturated, Battlefield games have been oversaturated, but there are still shooters that are worth playing because they provide an experience that only they could provide, and I can't really think of too many shooters that have released recently. I feel like a lot of companies are taking a step back from the yearly release of first-person shooters. You just complained about 2 war games? What? Two war games. Oh, Call of Duty and Battlefield? There will always be new, interesting ideas. It's war games, oversaturating the FPS market that's caused there to be less FPS games. I mean, yeah, I agree that it's the mainstream, like, war games like Call of Duty and Battlefield, but what I'm saying is that the FPS market has become oversaturated by these war games and not gaming as a whole. Like, I think you're kind of missing my point. Or at least, I don't know. But I think certain genres can be oversaturated, but I wouldn't say gaming as a whole is oversaturated, because currently there are certain genres that aren't being oversaturated, and I would argue are getting not as much attention as they should be, because those are genres that people would be playing. I said AAA, not gaming as a whole, but that's also... I also am saying I disagree, because AAA gaming, while it's not been good, isn't exactly like games made by EA have been oversaturated because they're usually shooters, or the ones that are released that aren't shooters, I would argue are not oversaturated because Jedi Fallen Order hit a kind of game style that kind of hasn't been used very much, at least in the Star Wars market. Like, you could argue that it's a Souls-like game, which is also oversaturated, and I do believe Souls-like games are becoming oversaturated. And I kind of have a... I'm going off on a tangent, but anyway, I think gaming as a whole, it's oversaturated in the sense that the average person cannot really afford to buy most of the games that come out. Right, I understand that, but I also feel like not every game, like, not every gamer is going to want to buy every game. Because if I want to buy Jedi Fallen Order, that doesn't always mean that I'm also going to want to buy the new Call of Duty, because I don't like Call of Duty, but there are people that do. Not every single game style is... Not every single person that plays games is going to want to buy every single game, and I feel like just because there's a volume of games coming out that is currently at a high point, which personally I would probably argue that a lot less games are coming out now than in recent years. Currently, at least from what I've seen, it's a lot more movies coming out. Video games are currently at kind of a slow point, which is a good... I would say is a good thing currently, because I was trying to use it as... We got past the main oversaturated point. Well, so I was talking about movies and how the I guess you could say the market is oversaturated, and I guess I missed that part of... I guess that's just me using the word wrong. Well, I thought you were talking strictly from the amount of movies coming out, that movies were oversaturated, um, instead of the market. I misread what you said, but you also said it, like, oversaturation is what you mean. Because I was talking about, like, just that the market is oversaturated. I'm sorry for being... No, you're fine. I just, like, what... Because it's different when you're typing at me versus talking to me. Because when you're typing at me, I can only take what you type as what you mean. Whereas if you were to say it, like, verbally, I'd be able to understand it better. Because ultimately, like, we're having a one-sided conversation where, like, like, you're typing at me, but I can only read what you say and have a conversation, like, at you, essentially. I kind of did too, I think, because I was trying to respond to what Lee was saying, because Lee was talking, and my point kept getting derailed because I was responding. Um, my point is, the movie market is at a point where there is so many movies coming out that I cannot keep up. Like, the normal person that doesn't get paid to watch movies, or at least has that expendable income that you could go see a movie every single day or multiple movies in a day, it's hard to keep up with, and good movies uh will continue to be shot down and not released, not even made, because the movies that predate it have done terribly in the box office. And my point is that the box office, while it being the metric that companies use, is a bad metric for how good a movie is, because movies will often get their heyday, if they don't do well in the box office, several years later. Well, not several years, but even like when it hits streaming platforms, people will watch it because it's new on the streaming platform, and they'll enjoy it, and they'll either, like, you still get the people that buy it. Viewer numbers and money that movie makes will increase. Kind of like how Megamind was genius, but did bad early on and caused it to never get the sequel it deserved. Exactly, because you essentially have on the internet, this subculture of, not even subculture, just this number of people that love Megamind, but the company that produced it, which I think is Universal, will never give that franchise a second chance because it didn't do well in the box office. I thought it was Universal. It might be DreamWorks. I don't remember. But you essentially get these movies that deserve more, deserve better than what they got, that just will never happen because they didn't do very well at the box office. But you'll have these really shitty movies that come out, and because they have a certain actor in them, will spawn a fucking franchise. And I don't really care for that either. I think these movies that often get franchises or reboots because they're seen as popular or they have a famous actor in them need to kind of like not happen as much. And the issue is that some of these movies will do terrible in the box office, but because they had an actor that is one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood currently, they'll get a sequel, and that sequel will tank at the box office. But because it has this actor, they just keep throwing money at this franchise. I also feel like animated movies like Megamind just don't get funding anymore because the market for animated movies just want East shit for dumb kids to watch. In come the Minion movies. Just want easy shit for dumb kids to watch. Exactly. Children's animation, while it has its place, there is a market for adult animation, and the large amount of consumers out there will be like, listen, it's better to make family movies than kids movies. Well, let me finish my point on Zot's thing first. With animated kids movies, it has its market because, movies to show kids and keep them entertained definitely have its like, it has a very large market because parents kind of need ways to stimulate their kids' brains. It's also easier to merchandise. Not again, but like you said, it's easier to merchandise a kids movie than it is a movie for adults, because kids are more likely to want to buy a toy or buy merchandise surrounding a movie Whereas most people who are adults who are into movies, they might buy like a physical copy, or they might buy like a t-shirt, but the market for kids media is high, like at least in terms with merchandising, kids media is likely to do better in the merchandising front. So if you're going to make an animated movie, it's just easier to make it for children so you can make more money with the merchandising. Um, and even movies that are made for older fans tend to not do very well in the eyes of the studio, or will immediately get canceled by the studio because recently Batgirl got canceled because the studio didn't want to put more funding into it because it was going to have Michael Keaton and was supposed to be for adult female fans of Batman. And it had a lot of promise. I thought it very well could have been a good movie. At least it looked like, from what was happening and how much passion the director had for the movie, that it was going to be a serviceable Batgirl movie. Warner Brothers is also just doing dog shit in terms of even their kids market. Because one of their executives canceled a show that was targeting queer youth. I am pretty sure. It was targeting, well, it was specifically made for like queer youth and had like stuff to do with being queer and whatnot. And because the executive wasn't a fan of that, I guess like message, they canceled the show and Warner Brothers lost $3 million. Which I'm not sure if that's just how much it cost to make the show, or if it was like something else, like a bunch of companies might have just pulled out and stopped giving Warner money that would have made up that 3 million. But Warner Brothers is currently doing a bunch of marketing blunders, and at some point, very soon, their company might just go under because they're just doing dog shit move after dog shit move and losing themselves money. Um, that would be a thing to see. I think we might see it sooner rather than later because some executive just keeps making these awful decisions. Because like look at Ezra Miller's Flash movie. Because Ezra Miller is a person who keeps getting into scandal after scandal, doing dog shit human things, and they still have their job with DC and Warner, despite this insane outcry of people saying like, please fire this person, stop giving them a platform to be a shitty person, stop paying them, essentially, like cancel their movie. But from what I've heard, Warner Brothers refuses to cancel the Flash movie because it's in the post-production stages and it's going to come out like either this year or next year, I don't remember which. But because it's like so far along, they're not willing to recast or cancel the movie like everybody's been calling for them to do. And they haven't even, like, made a statement that they'll stop working with Ezra Miller in the future. Because they claim it would be too expensive to recast Ezra Miller. A kids movie is a movie made specifically for kids, so it's just stuff kids will enjoy and kind of mindless. A family movie is a movie where, though it's made mostly with kids in mind, it will have underlying mature themes, maybe some jokes that will go over kids' head. The second often ends up spawning fan bases both in kids and adults, whereas kids' movies are, well, you just put them on to distract a child, essentially. That's what my statement meant. I do agree with that sentiment, but with the way companies are doing currently, I believe they're making more kid movies than they are making family movies. Because Illumination made the Minions and made, they're making kids movies. And the, like, Adam's Family movie that got made, where Finn Wolfhard, voices one of the characters. That's very much a kids movie, not a family movie, despite being something that older people would enjoy probably more than children, because the Addams Family is this old IP. But they made this kids movie based on the Addams Family, which did horribly. They made 2 of those movies because they wanted to sell the Addams Family to kids. And both movies tanked, but they threw money at it because they wanted to be able to make more Addams Family property movies for kids, even though it didn't do particularly well with kids anyway. Which I do think led to Tim Burton getting his Addams Family show that's going to be on Netflix. But even that, I don't have, like, high expectations for. I think it's just going to be serviceable. Also, I swear sometimes these companies just make these dog shit movies just so they can renew the copyright for these properties. Well, so we do know for a fact that that's why the, like, we can pretty much guarantee that the reason that the live-action Disney movies, like Disney remakes, came out was so that Disney could hang on to the copyright. Because if you do nothing with, an IP or a character for X amount of time, I think it's like 30, 40 years or something, it becomes part of the public domain. And Mickey Mouse constantly, faced the fear of being public domain. I think it's more like 70 years, but yeah. No, but like, I believe with properties like Aladdin and Jungle, like, stuff like that, the movie becomes public domain after 70 years if the rights holder doesn't renew the rights to it. But it's 40 years for the, like, character to become public domain. I think, so, like, something very similar happened with Winnie the Pooh, where the source material became public domain, but they couldn't use the Disney version of Winnie the Pooh. And that's why we're getting that Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Because, from what I remember, Mickey Mouse has been, in the light to become public domain a bunch of times. And, Disney would either just make more Mickey Mouse, things, like they would make another Mickey Mouse movie or another Mickey Mouse TV like cartoon, and that would keep Mickey out of the public domain. So if Disney doesn't do something with Mickey Mouse by 2024, it will become public domain. Yeah, I've heard that as well. But the thing is, I am almost certain that Disney will either make a new cartoon or they will just lobby for politicians to give them the rights to the character for longer. Which they've done in the past. They have lobbied for Congress and politicians to just extend their copyright on characters, or even in the most like extreme circumstances, just straight up change copyright law. I do think currently we're at a point where a lot of things are becoming, not a lot of things, but certain things are becoming public domain that I'm sure companies do not want to become public domain. Like I said, with the book of Winnie the Pooh becoming public domain. That opens companies up to, that opens up other companies to make a Winnie the Pooh movie. Whether or not it's similar enough for Disney to, like, have a copyright suit or not is a different issue, but in the case of certain creations of, like, public domain things, they've been their own creation to the point where it falls under the radar, because a lot of the fairy tales that Disney movies are based on, they've done, like, so many companies have done, like, movies on, like, how many fucking Cinderella movies are there? Every Cinderella movie. There's a lot. I think if I scroll to the bottom of IMDb, there's like 27, and that's probably not all of them. Because Amazon made a Cinderella movie recently, and that's why I thought on that, but... Like, shit, Disney's making another Cinderella movie, which I don't believe has released yet. Either... No, I think it has released. Yeah, there's a Disney Plus Cinderella movie called Sneakerella, in which the main character, I think, is a guy. And it's just, like, from what the review's saying, it's just Cinderella with the gender roles reversed. And that, like, there's a million different, like, Cinderella things. Because there's even, a TV miniseries which came out in 2011. There's so many, like, modern takes on Cinderella. I think the case with no, that's what I was saying. Like, because I said the fairy tales that Disney movies are based on get told a million different times in movies. Well, quit getting lost. Pay attention, loser. This guy has no pants. Casually stomp his face in, no biggie. Okay, so somebody stole his pants. But yeah, I was gonna mention earlier how, the MCU keeps, bastardizing Marvel characters because Spider-Man kind of unfortunately, and as much as I like the newer Spider-Man trilogy, for like the first two movies, he's just Tony Stark Jr. And through most of the Infinity War saga, he's just Tony Stark Jr. And he's like Tony Stark's little like pet project. So you've got like, you know, Spider-Man that gets treated like, you know, a bastardized version of the character. You have Thor, who kind of becomes comedic relief. Even though Ragnarok, I think, is the best Thor movie, he's, at this point, just comedic relief. He's not a serious character at all. He'll never be a serious character again, because his comedic movies sell better. Same thing kind of happened with Ant-Man. He becomes comedic relief. Even though in the comics Ant-Man is Hank Pym, you know, the older guy we see in the Ant-Man movies, and Ant-Man is so smart, he helps create fucking Ultron. Ultron got bastardized because he was downplayed in how big of a threat he was. Thor's evolution especially makes me sad. Yeah, because he started off as this, like, cool, interesting character in the first movie, where he has his godhood stripped away. Well, not his godhood, but he has his, like, hammer taken away because he's overly cocky, he's just a bad god. Like, he's such an asshole that he is deemed unworthy by his father to wield Mjolnir, which Thor believes to be the source of his power. So he becomes this weak character. Then they kind of made the worst MCU movie with Thor: The Dark World. Which everybody can just agree that it was pretty bad, even though apparently, like, some people are trying to be hipsters and claiming it's good.
なんちゅうアジア
Is the video display out of sync with the audio for anyone else? I don't believe so. Like, my video display or the game? Damn it. Damn it. Um... Give me 1 second. Stream video is out of sync with stream audio somehow. How did that happen?